Woke up late, charts on fire, red and green like a funeral pyre. Discord screen and LFG, but my portfolio's haunting me. Spiked my coffee with regret. Last night I longed to break out bet. Now I'm broke, not broken yet. Just one more pump, I won't forget. Buy high, die huddling. The gen brain dopamine's controlling. Ride the whale or get wrecked clean. This crypto dream's a guillotine. Fake guru with 1,000 subs showed me coins in shady clubs. Promised moons, Lambos and jets. Now I'm left with JPEGs and debts. Scalped my soul in a 5-minute chart. Market dumped and it ripped my heart. But I'll reload, I'll play to win. Even if I lose it all again. Buy high, die huddling. Gas fees burn, but I keep rolling. FOMO's gone, greed's the king. This crypto dream's a punk rock thing. Time in hands with the crack in the glass. Risk it all, no brakes, full gas. Liquidation, call me sweet. Whisper welcome to defeat. No stop loss, no regrets. Code and chaos, no safety nets. Satoshi's ghost in my DMs told me to ape again and again. Buy high, die huddling. Gas fees burn, but I keep rolling. If I crash, at least I tried. In this wild west of blockchain rights. I'll be trading till the lights go out. Charts are noise, but I live for the sound. One candle spike, and I'm back in town. Crypto's a fight, and I'm 10 toes down. Diamond hands with the crack in the glass. Risk it all, no brakes, full gas. But I'll reload, I play to win. Even if I lose it all again. Woke up late, charts on fire, red and green like a funeral pyre. Discord screen and LFG, but my portfolio's haunting me. Spiked my coffee with regret. Last night I longed to break out bet. Now I'm broke, not broken yet. Just one more pump, I won't forget. Buy high, die huddling. The gen brain dopamine's controlling. Ride the whale or get wrecked clean. This crypto dream's a guillotine. Fake guru with 1,000 subs showed me coins in shady clubs. Promised moons, Lambos and jets. Now I'm left with JPEGs and debts. Scalped my soul in a 5-minute chart. Market dumped and it ripped my heart. But I'll reload, I'll play to win. Even if I lose it all again. Buy high, die huddling. Gas fees burn, but I keep rolling. FOMO's gone, greed's the king. This crypto dream's a punk rock.
Good morning, guys. Hope you have an awesome day so far today. It's been a busy couple of hours. We got price action gave us an SFP. We got a 3-hour one, a 15-minute one. Who we got in the chat? We got Trip, Wayne, Steerding, Overcome, Noah. Good morning, man. All right, let's dive into it. We got a move coming up for us We're in decision mode right now for something that's really important. I'll go through that, but we're also preparing for something if we get a 15-minute candle close above 67K. We're at a valley area low. So there's one thing we got to watch out for, because if we get that like a specific break of structure, then we can fall down and start grabbing this liquidity down below us at 64,500. Just waiting for some people to jump in. Price action is like taking its time a little bit right now. We have in the chat. Mandara, what's up? We got Cameron, Josh, Ian. Good morning. DJ, Marco, Jillian, what's up? Okay, let's dive into it. So we have we're at a valley area low. We've been ranging here for now about 12 days. We've been inside this valley area for. So we're about to potentially get acceptance back inside that. But we're at like kind of like a make it or break it moment for this valley area right now as we speak. So we came up, zooming in on the look of the 15-minute time frame here. We left this valley area here last night, right? And now we're coming up to test the internal supply, which is fully mitigated in confluence with the VWAP. So if this drives the price down to close below this low at 65.7, then we'll have a break of structure that basically defines us losing the valley area. So whenever you see this happen, this is a big moment where we could lose a valley area and rotate to a previous one, where we could use previous valley area data or previous key levels. And we do have a key level right below us at 64.5, which is an area where we have a clustered amount of liquidity for over $200 million. Probably more now that we had this most recent bounce. This is also a golden pocket for the pull of this low to this high from like 64.9 to 72.2. So if you pull a fib from here to here, our liquidity is surrounded by our golden pocket level here. So we could have an initial bounce reaction off of that. So shorting this is going to come with extreme caution, where you'd watch out for a strong reaction that could induce us to get acceptance back inside this valley area again. Since we've been ranging here, I'm more optimistic for us to potentially get that close up here, but we know what to look out for to prevent us from having that kind of mindset, right? So yeah, all we're really lacking to invalidate an idea of us going up is just this one follow-up break of structure on this low right here. So we'll see what happens. So it's if we instead get acceptance back inside this valley area through this 15-minute change of character, all we really need is a 15-minute candle close above here to invalidate the drop, right? And to get us acceptance back inside this 12-day valley area. I can update this really quick. But yeah. And this would meet all of our clairvoyant strategy rules, right? Our clairvoyant strategy has a really high win rate. We need to have a break of momentum, right? A bullish change of character, preferably getting acceptance into the valley area. But you could also have a deviation below as well. But if you have that valley area acceptance, then you tend to have more trade participants helping to drive the price up towards at least the point of control, right? And if we get to that point of control, that's when we're going to start babysitting the trade again. So if we have any opposing structure here, we got to watch out. It's really common for us to use a point of control or an equilibrium point of a range as a form of support or resistance prior to leaving the range and continuing a faster paced move either to the downside or to the upside. So we always got to watch out for that point of control. But if we get that close, I will be targeting this value area high where we have this 6-hour bearish order block. And then if we get opposing structure here, then I'm out, right? If we get continuation structure here, I'm staying in. So yeah, big moment right now. So luckily that means opportunities are kind of everywhere right now. I did make a mistake this morning. I kind of want to go over it with you guys so you don't make the same mistake I did. I jumped in. I got too excited on the confluence of an SFP. I took an SFP right here on this candle, right? And it gave us like an internal high probability target of this high here. And yes, that target was hit, but not before I got stopped out. So I took this sweep of this low. We also swept a previous low here in confluence with that. But I jumped in prior to New York session open. And that was where the mistake was, because it's really common for New York session to sweep any newly added liquidity before going towards any measurable targets. And that's exactly what happened. We had our SFP candle here. We ran up. But during this active candle, we came down first and knocked anyone out, and then ran up and hit the target. There was an opportunity in the lower time frames to like get in on like a break, but it was a lot lower R&R, and you'd be targeting the supply in confluence with the VWAP there. So right now, as we speak, we're kind of having a battle against the VWAP and losing. What we want to see is a candle close above there. Maybe we'll maintain our current active low time frame momentum that we're forming right now. If we get that higher high, then we're very likely going to start seeing that rotation up towards our key level at 67.3. I'm just going to be mindful of this supply barrier concern alongside with the valley area low itself potentially acting as a form of resistance. So it's good to, what I want to see for things to be picture perfect and to give us higher R&R, because right now just waiting for a 15-minute candle close would give us a 1 to 2, assuming we have a flat line close right above the wick. And our stop loss would be below this area. If we instead get a 15-minute candle close here and then pull back, then get the higher high, we could use that as our stop loss guard and use the same move to give us a much, much higher R&R setup, like a 1 to 5 instead of like a 1 to 2. Like getting any internal pullbacks prior to the break is not going to give you any any strong lows. You'll be using internal structure, and usually it's less dependable. So you just got to be aware of that. You could see if there's any pullbacks. Oh, like we do have one prior to the VWAP, so you can have the VWAP guard for your stop loss guard, the structural guard, assuming we get above this high. Just basically bringing up not by much, but enough to increase your gains on the same exact move. Depending on how much money you risk in your setups, if it's like $100 risk, it's like you're increasing your gains by $50 by moving it up just a little tad there. Or if we have a bounce off the VWAP like this prior to the break, you could use internal structure for your stop loss guard in that scenario, and you'd have the VWAP guard, maybe the orb guard, depending on the positioning, and increase your gains by about $130 instead of going for like the 1 to 2. We'll see what kind of picture we paint. But yeah, big decision mode right now. So a candle body close below here means we're very likely going to be going down to at least this liquidity at 64.5, maybe even lower. If we have a previous point of control at 63K, and we have our extreme low at 59.9. But this is your big barrier, the main boss, honestly. Out of everything along the way, this is going to be the strongest point of interest that could induce a bounce at 64.5. What do we got in the chats? We got Ivan, what's up, man? Mitra, good morning. Vintage. Good morning. But yeah, so what's kind of nice about this is we'll definitely have a really good opportunity today. What we were talking about yesterday was an hourly order block that was here, right? And we did get a bounce reaction off of it, but we kind of lost against the momentum. And luckily, if anyone did take the setup, I probably would have seen, oh yeah, based on the structure. Let's see, 5 minute. Yeah, so mitigated the order block. Bullish change of character here during that moment. You could have entered there. But yeah, the supply was right in our face here. And the downturning momentum confluence induced the drop. And if you didn't get out from the double top, that's right here, right? You could have gotten out from the head and shoulders warning after losing momentum and using that momentum as resistance in confluence with losing the VWAP and using it as resistance. So at this point, the market was screaming at you to either short or to get out of existing longs. I'm trying to get comfy on my chair. I've been sitting on one side of my chair since I bought it. So now the whole chair is like uneven. It's kind of like, yeah, third world problems, I guess. But yeah, it's freaking, yeah, this chair sucks right now. Here we go. Yeah, and internally right here, we had a break back up, mitigated that supply after testing the VWAP, came down, hit a golden pocket, retracement from this low to this high. And we're still kind of fighting, trying to use the orb as a form of support. Let me get rid of this noise. So yeah, that's what I'm preparing for, guys. Either A, let's just get this adjusted. Close below here for a drop down, or close above 67.3 for that pump up. And the close for 67.3, like it needs to be on the 15-minute time frame. Anything below that, it's like front running. Just be a little cautious. So we get this labeled here. There we go. Does anyone have any questions about this, or do you want to like move on to another asset while we wait? Now you're going to want to have pick an asset that will have good confluence with this move. We were taking a quick peek at Cardano today, and it's kind of more positioned for a bearish bias right now. So Cardano. Here we go. So we were kind of had some hopium in hopes that we get a break of this high, grab the liquidity from these two highs here. But we never confirmed any move at all. We did break below this low, mitigate this local demand, and now we're below the point of control. We can update this pole here. Right? So, yeah, in order for us to get that rotation up, maybe we'll just be looking for a break above this high here. But yeah, instead we got to close below these lows, mitigate this demand. Now we're having a break of structure below the POC, suggesting a rotation down to the value area low. And that bias kind of fits well with the idea of Bitcoin closing below this low, and it would speed up Cardano's pace to its drop down here. Based on its, it does look like it has relative weakness right now because it's kind of leading the drop, right? If we close below this volume shelf on Cardano, which is basically around 26.94, actually you can just look at your local low and just mark it at 26.86 around here. Yeah, 26.85. Yeah, close below there would get you a close into this valley, and price action would move quickly until we get to this volume node where we have demand right here. So that would just give you a continuation. So if you're an existing short, it's a good idea to know this so you can prepare for the continuation, but jumping in on a new short doesn't really come with the R&R. You'd have to hope for it to breach past that local demand to at least capture a 1 to 2 and attack these local lows. And that kind of forces the R&R. So if you're not in an existing trade, maybe from this double top with bearish divergence, close, acceptance into the valley area, like that was your best moment, in my opinion, to take that. And this is just about, monitoring the price action, looking for opposing structure. And so far, we don't have any opposing structure. Let's draw our momentum. There. And then we'll look for reversals here. Bitcoin, how you doing, man? It looks like it's trying to get acceptance back inside the orb. A lot of crunch going on here. It's got like descending double top, neckline, close below the neckline, drop to this low, and then we find out if we get that continuation or not if we close below here. Delete that. And we'd lose the orb too. Those are 2 pathing plans here. And watch out here, and then prepare to exit here. Good morning, Izuki. How you doing, man? Anything you guys want me to look at? Yeah, TA was quick today. Right now we're sitting on our hands waiting for A or B to happen. No problem, man. Good morning. What's up, man? Can we look at Teo? Teo, BitTensor, and BNB. All right, let's see. Just gotta type something up really quick here, guys. There we go. Yeah, I'm just going to type up these setups really quickly, and then we're going to dive into altcoins here. Just don't want the community missing out who's not able to attend the live. Some people are working. 63571.20, so 50-minute close below that level. Breaks it to 64.5, 15 a minute. Close above. 68948. Seven 105.50. There we go. Okay, let's look at Teo. I think we have a Teo chart. It's been a while. Yeah, January 9th was the last time we looked at it. It's been a little while. Let's see what we were looking at. We were looking at the hourly chart the last time we were looking at it. We're preparing for a rejection off these highs, but the POC is actually what blocked the area, so we didn't make it to grab. I basically marked every wick we had here, preparing for like SFPs at this value area high, because that's really good positioning for SFP setups. Anywhere below value area low or above a value area high tend to have more follow through and a higher probability of inducing a follow-up change of character to drive the price to the opposite side of the value area, right? So what's great about trading SFPs at value area highs and value area lows is how easy it is to understand your target evolution, right? So your first thing you're going to watch is when you're targeting SFPs is what's the most recent proper pullback, and that's what you're going to be targeting first. But if that pullback, if we close above it, then we tend to break key levels to be able to drive the price further up. Let's see. So we have taken, we haven't taken it. We're so close. The wick level low at 140 from October 10th crash. Yeah, we're awfully close to it. I'm not sure why it's not clinging to the wick. There we go. And tail right now is looking pretty darn bearish. So we just went into this supply concern, right? Giving us a SFP, pretty aggressive one, right? Then we broke neckline here. This is the 4-hour time frame we're looking at, by the way. The main guy that we have left to hold us up is this previous high, but so far it's not looking very strong. Let's look at the hourly now. And so we have our momentum here. Lost momentum. Right? We got that. So our close below our key level was here. On this candle. Yeah, stop loss could be relatively tight. There is a safer location, of course, but close here. You can use this as your stop loss guard. You could use this internal pullback here as your stop loss guard with the VWAP on your side. Obviously, it's a little bit higher risk. But yeah, you'll be eating a lot of your gains with the 5.88% stop loss. So very, very low leverage. It's pretty volatile. The measurable target based on the momentum of this structure. So just to move down to here. And we have an order block. Yeah, let's encase this. Little guy here. There we go. So that's the tails momentum based target based on this structure suggests that we're going to come down to 155. We do have some opposing barriers along the way. we can actually pull a fixed range volume profile from the start of the supply, because we mitigated it here. So we can use that to help find any additional data that help us understand any potential opposing barriers. We've fallen into a valley. Okay, so this is our volume shelf right here. We lost it when we closed below the double top. We have a volume node here. So that would be the main thing I'd watch first, is this. I'll just mark it as a volume shelf resistance. Or support, sorry. For those of you who don't know what the volume shelves are, think of it as like the top or bottom of a key area of interest, right? So if you were to like isolate information from valley areas, like we see here and here, we know that there's, just by looking at this and not looking at the price action, we know that we've been range bound in those two areas, right? So the top of a volume shelf is like the top of the area of interest within that range. We can pull a fixed range from here to here. You can see that our point of control like aligns with it from that area of interest, right? So along the way down, I'll be watching 68.5 as your first opposing area of interest. It can cause price action to come back up against you. If we get continuations, acceptance into that, it's a lot like acceptance into its own isolated valley area. We could see a rotation down to our demand zones that we're worried about down here. Focusing on this will still give you a 1 to 2 if you're already in on the trade. Like that, we came in on looking at this late. So if you're in on a setup, and that's why you asked me to look at Teo, that's what I'd recommend. Just being really cautious around 68.5 in hopes that we get the continuations to give you like an evolved target. And the continuations here would come in the form of a break of structure, most likely after a bounce here. So bounce, close below, acceptance within this area, and then rotation to the opposite side of that volume shelf, which is way down here. So you can evolve your target down here and be cautious about here. Hope that helps you out. I didn't take that, so I'm going to delete that. All right, let's go to the next request. Let's pull up the chat. Thanks, Coma. One last, Kyle. When you do classes on Discord, when do you have classes? Okay, so our schedule, let me pull that up for you for our classes. We have 1 or 2 per day, depending on the day. So we have you can go into the Discord and you'll see the InvestiShare tab, and you'll see we have a schedule here. But yeah, to go over it in more detail, Mondays at 9 a.m. we got Brian, who does the open weekly analysis with you guys. You can ask him any questions you'd like to. On the same day at 4 p.m. Eastern, we have our trading masterclass, where we usually go over one subject, but sometimes if you guys have any questions about something off subject, then we definitely go through that. Like, it's for you guys. So like, if you have any questions, we go through it together. We either be about risk management, order books, market structure, all that fun stuff. Then we have trade hunting every day except for Monday, so Tuesday to Friday at 9:15 a.m. Eastern. And then market structure study with Lucas. This guy is a wizard at market structure. So he just basically goes through what a change of character is, what a bullet break structure is. You can also ask those questions to me, but like that's his primary focus. And then we have swing trade study on Fridays at 1 p.m. with David. He also goes over mindset. Like, he's a really good mindset teacher to help you with your like any internal block, finding that your heart missing during a setup or anything like that, he'll help you kind of through that. But yeah, we got a full schedule. We have 5 days a week. We have about like 8 calls that we do with the community. So every time you guys see me go live on YouTube, I'm just finishing up one. So sometimes I try to get on here for 10:30 a.m. But saying goodbye to the community is a lot like trying to say goodbye to my parents. It sometimes it like drags on a little bit, and it's tough to leave. No problem. What do you think the Bitcoin levels? What do you watch? Where do you were going to go where? Yeah, I'll flip bearish on Bitcoin if we get that break of structure, because it'll confirm us using the value area as resistance. So we're just lacking a close below here to invalidate this bullish idea, right? So yeah, that's all we're lacking. You'll see it in the course all the time when it comes to like our clairvoyant strategy. When we leave a value area and we use it as resistance to get the lower low, that's a signal that we're leaving the value area. It's also a really good confluence for any trend traders. So if you're a trend trader and you want to see it trend instead of range, this is really, really good confluence that would help prevent you from getting caught in any false breaks. All right? Like you see here, for example, with the value area data, like we never used the value area as resistance and then closed the lower low. We instead had reversal structure. Never got the lower low. All right, almost. It looks like we're trying to consolidate, stacking liquidity above us to maybe take it and bring us up. And that's why this, almost like the statistical behavior of a bull flag, right? Stack, stack, stack liquidity above us while taking below us, resetting our oscillators, and then helping drive the price back up. We'll see what happens. And we just swept the local low again. So we basically had an SFP internal one here, sweeping these lows, giving us a target of this high, but with an opposing barrier of the VWAP and the orb. And there's setups all the time, everywhere. I just prefer giving the ones to you guys that have high probability moves. All right, especially if there's beginners that don't know how to react to opposing structure. Nathan, I wanted to see how to add funds to get the elite subscription for like a month. I need to have a one-on-one indicator setup. Order blocks, trade. Okay. Yeah, we can do a one-on-one, man. I gotta readjust my Calendly because I kind of blocked off my schedule so I can work on building something for you guys. I can give you a peek. I might as well. I just gotta be careful how I share the link. A sec. If I do, it might crash my computer. A sec. No, I'll keep it a secret. I'm really bad at keeping secrets. I'm working on something to help improve the courses for you guys, to make it feel like a lot more fun to learn. You're a standard member and paying an annual membership took advantage of the Valentine. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to continue the conversation in the ticket there, man. I'll jump on the ticket right after we're done doing this live. B&B. Let's take a look at B&B. B&B is really important for me to watch, so I'll take a look at that. I know this is floating around like crazy here, guys, but one thing I'm gonna kind of recommend if you're holding any stocks, with all the Epstein baloney going around right now, just monitor like who might be a part of that, and just prepare for their arrest and how it might impact the stock you might be holding. Could be also a good short opportunity. Make sure you follow the market structure, but yeah, the Epstein stuff. Yeah, it seems like they're actually going to be going through with putting people behind bars. I was kind of like, the world's been kind of corrupt lately, so I haven't been very optimistic about them actually doing something about it. But it seems like they actually are. If they don't, the whole system, the justice system, kind of breaks. So just be mindful of that. I know it's like nothing to do with what we usually talk about, but just want to make sure you're protected. You're not holding any stocks that could be impacted by all that, because there's a lot of them. So just basically just go into the government website, type in the name of any CEOs of any stocks you might be holding, and it'd be a good tip to prepare for any opposing structure that could end up, causing a crash on those assets. Anyways, go back to BNB. Last time we looked at it was February 11th, so like about 8 days ago. You doubt that there'll be any arrests? Yeah, I had that feeling too, but we're actually starting to see some happening. I hear you. Yeah, there's some that I'm kind of doubting. But so Binance Coin, when we last looked at it on the 11th of February. Yeah, was it the 11th? So we got drawings here that suggest we looked at it sooner. Yeah, we must have. Yeah, I must have looked at it sooner than that. Anyways, this is the structure that we're looking for at the Valley area low. Very similar to what we're waiting for on Bitcoin. Binance is currently holding off a previous 95-day point of control. Let me update that poll properly. Sorry. When you do your fixed range volume profile polls, let me delete this so it's out of our face. You want to stop your poll when we leave the Valley area. Right here. We left it. We used it as resistance. And this was the confirmation of the resistance here. The only reason why I feel like we could return back is because of this point of control holding us up right now. So we mitigated most of this supply concern when we came up and balanced off the point of control originally. So the barrier, think of it like we chipped away at armor a little bit. The barrier has gotten weaker. Let's mark our Valley area low. Okay. We got our internal momentum, our more broad momentum here. Just zooming out. Yeah, so we have, this is our previous 95-day Valley area. From a range from back over here. If we go to the 4 hours, a lot easier to find. Right? So, oh, ice is falling off my roof right now. Yeah, so down here, this is our previous Valley area. We got acceptance inside the Valley area here. We lose this point of control. We could rotate down to the Valley area low at $589. And when we lost this macro momentum, we start targeting these lower Valley areas. BNB has done a good job this cycle, extremely good job. It's honestly one of the best performing network tokens, and I got in around what was it, $270. When we broke this macro momentum, we were targeting the macro golden pocket. Some people got out here, unfortunately. We had the inverse head and shoulders measurable target hit, and we had the spot reaction sell-off from the target being hit. So how spot and futures impact the market conditions they're very, very different. They're almost opposite. So here we had this inverse head and shoulders measurable target brought us up to here, and then we had that spot reaction sell-off from the target being hit, and a lot of the members got out in that moment. I held on to mine and threw it into Karma for liquidity because free money, right? Free Karma liquidity. Yeah, here. And yeah, so we're at our key area of interest. Then we're hoping to see a bounce to get a potential rotation up to that value high, but Bitcoin will drag down BNB. The BNB has a crap ton of pairing liquidity with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin drops, that pairing liquidity value drops, and then it makes it easier for the Binance coin to drop along with it. All right, so this is our last little barrier that will protect us from a drop down to this value area low. We do have a wick level low at 592, where we could get a sweep bounce, but likely we'll hit our head off the point of control and just continue down. So if you're looking for a move to the upside, and we have a proper pullback here. There we go. 604.90. Yeah, close above here with a simultaneous acceptance into the value area. Stop loss below the lowest low point. Be mindful of the point of control along the way. You're risking to lose $100 to try to gain 400. 420. Opposing threat at your 1-to-1. So if you're forced out because of the confluence of the downtrending momentum and the point of control, then you just get out, and then you just look for a new entry. Accept the small gains, accepting it to come back full circle and hit you. So like a low time frame, likely 5-minute bearish, change of character, just leave. But with this level here, you want a 15-minute candle close above it. A close above it. Not a wick. You need to close above this level. So if I were to draw pathing, what kind of behavior you could expect? You look to the volume shelves, look to the POC, look to the structure. So here we could hit our head. Here, volume shelf, liquidity, could pull back, hit our head, and then lastly here. This could be steeper too. I'm expecting to be a little bit steeper just because of this left shoulder behavior. It could build like an inverse head and shoulders. Retest the value area low, get the higher high, and then run up. But that's all hypothetical. Mainly just be cautious around the POC. And then if we get that pullback, you can use fibs to help generate potential key levels in confluence with the value area and prepare for an entry there. Bitcoin still squeezing, man. You can do it. No kickboxing today. What day is it? Thursday. Boxing today. Okay, sorry guys. My wife is probably waiting for me. Sorry, so sorry. Yeah, Thursdays and Tuesdays I have to end it at 11:30. I have to be on the road right now in order to get there on time. All right, thank you for reminding me, Sterling. All right, yeah guys, quick recap. Close below 65,571. I was too relaxed there. I thought I had a lot more time to go over alts with you. But tomorrow we can do like a 2-hour stream and go through some alts in the giveaway. But yeah, close below 65,571. Likely rotation to liquidity at 64.5. Close above 67,303. Yeah, then prepare for a rotation up. If the close is really, really aggressive, like really high, wait for a pullback so you can get the R&R. Do not FOMO into a big fat green candle if it happens. Wait for the pullback, okay? And then get the R&R to our measurable target, and then we'll watch the POC along the way. Super sorry, guys. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, sharing. Yeah, we're definitely growing because of you guys. Thank you so much. See you guys. Bye. So, you're not going to believe that, bro. There's no bathroom in here. All right. See ya.